I was at a car show in Greensburg.
Mm-hmm.
I was selling these dummies in the back of the car. It was a classic car auction.
Okay.
Eric, it was about 2 years ago, I reckon. He had this life-size statue of Donald Trump. And, I mean, it looks just like it. I mean, it does. If you could see it.
We'll show it to you.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. Well, I got people to come by the house here.
Yeah.
And come knock on the door and want to come over here and just get their picture made with Donald Trump.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Blacktop Banter. This is episode 17, 18, 19. I don't even know anymore. We're getting so many of them, but they're churning out, and I'm glad we're churning them out because we're about to get busy for the season. I got guests today. They're about to get busy. Definitely. They've been busy. I've been following them along on Instagram. But first, we got to give a shout out, and this one goes to Jesse Stone from Stone Sealcoating. Guy always supports the podcast on social media. Really appreciate that, fella. So I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves. This is the crew, the fam from Piedmont Paving. And we got Josh, David, and Matt. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Josh, you start out.
Josh, 23. And I'm the youngest son.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, I'm David McGee. I'm the owner. El Presidente, I reckon, on the
There we go.
on the Instagram. But I'm 54, and so this is our 30th year in business.
All right.
And I'm Matt McGee. I'm 25 and rocking and rolling.
Yeah, that guy's that curly hair going.
It's quarantine, man. Quarantine. I get a haircut.
Yeah.
I had an awesome quarantine stash, but I was like, I probably ought to shave this for the podcast. So it was bad.
Nothing awesome about it.
Dude, I got 5 o'clock shadow going. It's almost 6 o'clock already. It's been on so long. So it is what it is. So, David, you want to give us a history real quick, how Piedmont got started, man?
Well, I was just telling Marvin, a little bit different from me, from a lot of people. I don't have any background in construction. I think the only construction background I had is I worked on a crew when I was in the 10th grade this summer building swimming pools. And that was about my extent of construction. But where I started graduated high school in 84, went off to college. And just to jump ahead, in 1990, after working at UPS for 5 years, driving a package car for 3.5 of those, working in preload for 2 almost, going back to college for the 4th time, I decided to get married and got married in January of 1991. And UPS actually hired me back after I quit in 1990 to start the busy season. And I worked for driving a package car for about 3 months. So in January, of course, after Christmas, they laid me off.
Oh, of course.
I didn't have a job. And I was married and I was drawing unemployment. And a buddy of mine said, "Hey, David, I got a friend that will let you come shovel asphalt for him for $50 a day. And he'll pay you cash and we'll mess up your unemployment." So I said, well, I had never seen asphalt, never been around asphalt, just on the side of the road, riding down like most people. So I said, oh, shoot, I'll do that. Because that hadn't worked, but a few months in the month of 1990, I could only draw like 12 weeks unemployment. So
sure.
I went to work for this guy. He was a small guy, just small stuff, little driveways, patching, and after a while I thought, because I always wanted my own business since I was probably 16 years old. And I thought to myself, I can do this. I think I can do this asphalt thing. So one weekend, me and my wife went to visit her grandparents in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And we sit at breakfast on Saturday morning, and her grandpa looked at me and said, "Hey, son, how you support my granddaughter?" And I told him, I said, well, I've been shoveling asphalt for this guy, and I didn't tell him what I was making, but I said, I think I'm going to try this little asphalt business. I think I can do this. I said, the guy was making some money. And so I said, I think I can do this. That's all I said. And Sunday evening, we were getting ready to leave, drive home, and he walks up to me and hands me a piece of paper. And I thought, folded a piece of paper, and I thought, now what is this? So I open it up, and it's a check for $5,000. He said, look here, son, go start your asphalt business. He said, as soon as you get going, you're going to start paying me back $100 a month once you get up and running. So I didn't want to take the money. I didn't ask for the money. I never mentioned money. He just I don't know. They said it was so out of character for the man that they couldn't believe, the family couldn't believe that he did this for me.
Huh.
So I took the money, went home. I took $4,000, paid it down on a single axle dump truck. I took the other 1,000, bought some shovels, some chain dogs, some chains.
Don't you know we're in asphalt? You're supposed to spend the 4,000 on your own self and only put 1,000 back into the business. That's how that's supposed to go. You did it backwards.
I went and I had a good credit, so I went and bought a trailer, a little tag-along trailer. I think it was $1,600. I couldn't believe I got it financed, but I got it financed. And then I went and rented a roller, a Roll Mold 203.
Yep.
And printed some cards. And that was April of 1991. Started handing out cards. And handing out cards. And lucky for me, my mother has worked for the Kernersville, where we're from, only has two dentists. Basically had two dentists, and my mother worked for both of them. Been still working for the one for 50 years. So she knew everybody in town. So between that and just beating the bushes, we started doing some patching. We started doing small things. I didn't know what I was doing really, but just figured it out as we went. So I bought my first paver, I think, June of that year. We went down to Leeboy and bought a Leeboy drag box.
Yep.
Which was probably taking 5 years off my life, but nobody told me it happened. But we bought a Leeboy drag box and started doing some little driveways. And it's funny, I used to tell them stories about this Leeboy drag box, and they didn't believe me until Mark Bullock from Leeboy was at Connex talking about it.
Uh-huh.
He just confirmed everything I've been telling his boys for all these years. He said,
now they got proof.
Son.
Yeah, now you got proof of how hard it was.
20 tons with a Leeboy drag box, and you come home at 6 o'clock and your head hit the pillow, you was asleep.
Yeah.
We did that, and we just started adding a little piece of equipment here and there, and we had a little Kubota tractor. In the first winter between 1991 and 92 winter was tough.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we was going to make it. I was thinking about a story before we come on here. I thought, this is how bad it was. So I remember we were out riding around looking for something to do, and I found this is a parking lot or a driveway. These people had this big pothole in their gravel driveway. And I went to the door and asked them, I said, you want to, I can fill your pothole in your driveway before you fill that whole low place up. And the old lady said, yeah. I said, how much you charge me? I said, back then I could buy ABC stone for $4.50 a ton around here. I said, $25. So I went and got a ton of stone and filled her pothole up for $25. And I was excited because I'd made $20 that day. And then that's the winter. And then, I think when I look back over the course of all this over 30 years, it's like, I don't know if you call it an intervention, you call it what you call it, but things happened, and I don't know why the reason it happened. And then one day the phone rang in that February of 92, and a guy at Asphalt planned to give this man who was just a contractor my telephone number. He wanted somebody to do some little patching for him. Mm-hmm. And so he called me, and we started doing some patching for him. And he was a contractor, and he worked for a company. The guy closed the business and went back to England, and he kept the contacts.
Okay.
So contacts, and most of it was shopping centers, little apartment complexes. So we started working for him in 92, which got me through the winter. Plus, we started making some money. Right. And I remember the first job I got that I couldn't use the Leeboy drag box on because the way it was configured, I couldn't hook the truck to it and pull it.
Right.
I went over to Air Equipment and rented a power box, power paver. I didn't even know how to start it.
Yep.
I couldn't get on my trailer, so I took my trailer to my buddy's house. We took a torch and cut the fenders off the trailer. Oh yeah, cut the fenders off the trailer, went over and loaded the paver on it, took it to the job. I got on it and started messing with it and figured out how to run it, and we paid the job with it. Took the trailer back to my buddy's house, welded the fenders back on. And then I ended up buying 1993, I bought a first power paver, it was a little Malden 550.
So how long was that gap from when you first used one to when you bought one?
Wasn't long, because after I used that one, and I thought, man,
it's hard to go back. Yeah. At all costs, we got to get one at all costs. Yeah.
And I was like, I got to do this. So we bought a little 550, a little Malden 550. I put a bunch of asphalt down it. I was the only one to run the paper. We had about a 4-man.
I used to run a Malden back in the day. Yeah.
I run both sides. I could run across the street and run both screws. And and we had a roll man, a loop man. I shoveled. We had another shovel guy.
You shoveled and ran the Malden at the same time.
Okay. I put down in 1995. After about 2 years running, I put down 640 tons one day with that thing on the paper by myself. One day on an overlay job, and it looked just as good as anything we've done today. I could run the hell out of that thing.
Huh.
But
once you went from the Malden, what'd you go to?
well, in 1995, we bought a Leroy 8000.
What's that? 8,000 you said?
8,000.
Okay.
8,000. And
game changer.
Game changer.
Yeah.
And I had worked for me. And one thing I will stay right here. I've been very fortunate to be able to be surrounded by good people.
Sure. That's a major key.
The whole time I've been surrounded by some good people.
Mm-hmm.
I had a man named Jay Brewer that worked for me, and he could
still works for us.
Still works for us. He works at the recycle yard, and but he just had a knack for running equipment, and he wanted to run the paper. And I said, well, Jay, that's fine. So I let him run the when we got Leroy, he started running Leroy's.
Yep.
And I sit on, I call it the dummy side, and I could conduct business
on the
side while he's running. We always had a 2-man paper. We run a paper with 2 men always. That's always what we've done. And I've never had 3 men. You know, we just run 2 men.
There ain't no need for it. You can do 2.
It's not. And me and Jay, one thing we figured out about these Leroy pavers, after about the second or third one we had, we started taking the toe point. The first thing they do when I ordered it, I said, take the toe point out of the box on the top, put the toe point in the little box, and then they would put us like a piece of angle on it and raise this box up right to your hands.
Oh, okay.
So we could I could sit on this side and Jay could sit on his side, and I could run the toe point. I could run the extension of the auger with one hand.
Oh, I got you.
He could run with that box. He could run the toe point, extension auger on his side, and he always used the sonic augers. I did, but he could drive the paver and still run it like that. So once I got the screw set, when we were on a pretty good grade, I never touched screw all day. I could run paver from the toe point all day long, sitting up there. And I always sit on low deck. He always sit high deck. But he started running that paver then, and that was 1995, I think. So I don't know how many Leroy pavers we bought since then, but I kept trading. I keep them about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Get some hours on them, I trade them.
Mm-hmm.
Keep a new machine on the job. But we started back then. It's about 95. We bought that paver. In 96, we went and bought a Leroy motor grader 685. Actually, it ended up being Leroy's prototype. Is what it ended up being. It was used. It was older, but we bought it. And I remember the first time I walked into a general contractor's office over here in Winston, I just was riding around with that. I want to start bidding some new construction. So I walked in the office and asked for a set of plans. They give me one. I went home, didn't have a clue on how to do a takeoff. Went and bought somebody said, you need to go buy a scale. And I went and bought me a scale, sit down in the basement and did a takeoff on a CVS drugstore. Typed the bid up, faxed it in. Next thing I know, they sent me a contract. Drugstore. And we didn't have, and so, one thing is we didn't really oversell ourselves, but I always was willing to do it.
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, tell people I could do something I couldn't, but I knew we could do it.
There's been time where when we were starting doing what I was doing, and I'd get to that point and not do that, and just be like, man, that's out of our league. I can't do that. And now we're at a point where I don't say that hardly at all, because I realize how much or how quick that could have suppressed what we would have became or are becoming by doing that. Now that don't mean that I have to do it, but I have to be able to say we can do it. You know what I mean? And then even if I just know somebody that does it, at least it gets me to that point, you know what I mean, and beyond. But I'm with you on that one. That's a major thing to say you can't. Yikes, man. Especially if you're trying to grow.
And we just started doing the we just kind of migrated over to the new construction part of it in 96 and stayed there and we're doing pretty good with it. And in 2002, we were doing some sub work for a bigger contractor here that was out of South Carolina, but they had 2 asphalt plants, one in High Point and one in Lexington. And they were subbing some of their work. They were so busy, they were putting stone down. We'd come in and pay some of their jobs for them. And I was working with a guy. He was like the project manager there. And then they sold out to APAC. Mm-hmm. When they sold APAC, a guy named Mark Roundtree come to me in 2000. He was the estimator, like project manager for that, for this company. And he, Ray Construction over there in High Point. And he come to me and said, man, I can't work for these guys. The guy that took it over, his boss, he just didn't get. He said, I want to come to work for you. I said, man, I can't afford you. I can't afford that. Before then, I was the estimator, the secretary, the accountant. I did the payroll. I did it all. I did it all. I'd sit down in our basement at night, had a little office, faxing off quotes at 11, 12 at night, get up in the morning at 7.
It's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I
Yeah.
didn't know. Thursday nights, I sit on my little book, figure out about everybody's payroll, take all their taxes out, and write the checks. And I did it all. Then Mark came along in '02, and he basically said, I'm coming to work for you. If it don't work out, fire me. I said, man, I don't know how it's going to work out, Mark. But
Right.
he came on and started estimating, and he had all his background was in new construction.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't have to train him. So we started, and he brought some of the people that they'd been working for, some general contractors, to the table for us, and we started working for them too. So we started, with Mark was a big addition in '02, and then in '04 Mark came to me and he said, we're subbing all this concrete work out, or curb and gutter work out. He said, why don't you? I'll look after it. He said, I'm bidding it anyway. When we start a concrete crew, and I'll look after it. We'll start our own curb and gutter crew and start doing it in-house. So we formed Piedmont Paving Concrete LLC in 2004. And I said, well, you do it, Mark. I said, but, as long as you don't take away from your responsibilities as a paving company, we'll do it. And he did it, and he did them both. And it worked out really good for us. And it was a feather in our hat, because that was one of our things. We'd get our curb and gutter guys to come in, and they'd run all the easy stuff. And when you try to get them to come back to finish their tie-ins, or you couldn't get them back. And then they'd hire Yahoo to come over there and work for you. It wasn't worth the crap, and it just got frustrating. So we did it, and we're probably one of the only paving crews around here that's been able to maintain a curb crew. A lot of them tried it and just didn't work out, but it's worked out for us.
So is Mark still with y'all?
Oh yeah, he's still working.
Do you pay him? I guess I got to ask, how does that guy get paid? Salary, commission?
Mark or 50%.
Special.
Me and him own the concrete company 50%.
Perfect. Yeah, so that keeps that guy's motivation high, boy. Yeah.
You get incentive to make this whole thing work too. Plus, give me incentive because I make 50% of the money we make. So.
Not only that, that your quality control on your concrete finish is going to be high, especially for you guys to pave and stuff. So cool. What about now? Where are we sitting now? Because I know you guys mentioned to me that you do concrete crushing, blackout crushing, concrete crushing.
Oh, what happened was after '08, when '08 happened here, it's like November of '08.
It happened here too. '08 happened here too, man.
They walked in our office in '08, November, and just took turned the light switch out in '08. '09, we put about as much asphalt down in '09 as we did in '08 and didn't make any money. Just work was so cheap. Just didn't make any money. I went and told Mark, I sit him down, and I said, look, we got to switch gears. I said, if we don't switch gears, we're not going to keep the doors open.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the office one day, sit in the office, picked the phone up, and started calling up all these customers in the early '90s I worked for maintenance-wise. And lo and behold, I hooked up with a few of them, and they were getting ready to bid some work. So we kind of started in 2010, morphing back into a maintenance company on maintenance work, which we were fortunate enough to land some really good jobs, which if we hadn't, I don't know if we would have still made it in 2010. But we started pulling out of it in 2010, 11, and 12. And the one contact turned out to be a really, really good contact for us. And we did not hundreds of thousands, but millions of dollars worth of work for them people.
Very good. Very good.
And but in about 2013, I told Mark, I said, over the years I've been in business, I always get phone calls, people wanting wrap, or wanting some millings or wanting crushed asphalt. Y'all sell crushed, And if we milled a job, a lot of times I had people that would come in and pay for the trucking just to get the millings.
Right.
So I've been hauling asphalt over to APAC for 20 some years. They never give me a dime for it. They crush it up. They sell it right back to me, and never give me a break on my new mix.
They got a good gig. Those guys got a good racket going. I'm going to be honest with you.
I thought about it. And then around here, because Martin Marietta and Vulcan have got a monopoly in Winston and Greensburg, you can go, believe it or not, we're paying $18 a ton for ABC stone in Greensburg, Winston. I can go to Raleigh, an hour down the road, and buy it for 10, 9, get on the job for 12. So we were hauling the people. We were about to start buying crushed concrete from Vulcan, and I told Mark, I said, why don't we find some land? Because with our concrete crew and our asphalt crew both doing maintenance work now, we're taking up a lot of concrete, taking up a lot of asphalt. I said, and let's start dumping this asphalt on our own property, and then let's crush it, and let's see if we can sell it. And then we'll use concrete and use it for ABC stone in our paving jobs.
You guys got your own crusher, David, or you have somebody come in?
Got our own crusher. We leased one for about a year, and then we decided to buy one, so we went and bought one.
Cool.
So, but in 2000, So in 2013, we started looking for land. It took us about 2 years to find the right piece of property. So in the end of 2015, we bought a piece of property over in Greensboro, and about 6 acres, and started crushing the concrete and asphalt. And
I got you.
we get her, and what happened was we didn't realize it was talking about how things happen. Where we bought the property, 2 of the biggest concrete suppliers in Greensboro were right around the corner from us.
Okay.
A mile or 2. And they'd been washing out at the rock quarries, and they had all these restrictions on them, safety restrictions, all this stuff at rock quarries. So Mark went around with some donuts to them and said, hey, we just opened this up. You can come up here. So to make a long story short, we're probably getting 30 yards, 40 yards of washout a day, of just washout concrete.
Right.
And we just break it up. And so our crushed concrete, if I dumped it beside a pile of ABC stone from the quarry, you probably can't tell the difference.
Really, that's good.
And and we get it certified. We get Terracon come in and certify it for us, and most time it passes gradation for ABC stone. So we can submit our own stone on commercial paving jobs,
right,
and use fresh concrete. So I just buy the stone for myself. I quit writing checks to Vulcan and Martin Marietta, and we just buy the stone from ourselves. And we started selling we had a supplier in North Wilkesboro, which is about an hour and 15, 20 minutes from us, that we buy asphalt from. They did a lot of DOT work. They had 2 asphalt plants, and I called up there on a job one day, and the guy named Dean, I said, he gave me a price on asphalt. I said, damn, Dean. I said, you're $10 higher than APAC. He said, well, David, I don't have any wrap. He said, we don't get any wrap up here. And I said, really? I said, I haven't noticed somebody's got a bunch. Yeah. He said, where? I said, you come on over here to Greensboro. And I said, I'll show it to you. I bet we had 10,000 tons piled up.
Oh, I got you.
Down there, and took a sample back to their lab, called me up, and he said, we'll take all of it. So for 2 years, they bought every ton of asphalt we'd crush.
Oh,
we
really?
crushed 5/8 minus, so all they had to do was run it through the plant. Same thing, they brought a crusher in, and then they had some family issues and problems, and they don't really buy anymore. So then I told Matthew one night, I said, Matt, you need to put this on Facebook. Nobody knows we have this asphalt. Put it on Facebook Marketplace. And I said, I'm thinking we can sell it to the people for driveways and stuff like that. So he put it on Facebook Marketplace. The first week you had how many?
It was a full-time job.
I mean, it was 300 or 400 inquiries.
Crazy.
We sold 15,000 tons in a month and a half to driveway people.
Weird.
Yeah.
It was just, the pile was gone.
Our pile out here, and we're pretty rural. When it gets crushed, we just put a sign out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year we did do some Facebook stuff, and it won't be long that pile's gone. And it's just like
and stuff. It's really good stuff. It works.
Really good stuff. It's in between. It's affordable. It's in between gravel and blacktop. And if you treat it right and put it down right, it holds up really well. I mean, it's
actually put some down with our paver.
Yeah. Put some down with the paver and then roll it in. And there's a few different ways to make it pack in a little bit better. But it's just you got to let the people kind of decide what they like, and they like it. I mean, we like it around here because it doesn't really crack. You won't got to maintain it all that much, and it packs in a lot better. For us around here, we snow blow and plow a ton, and man, digging gravel out of your grass every year, people hate it. It's been in piles and stuff. So
we ruffled some feathers. I had the president of APAC call me and said he wasn't happy, and I said, why? He said, you took all that wrap off the market. And I told him, I said, I didn't take it off the market. He said, yeah, you did. I said, no, I didn't. I said, it's for sale. You want it?
Come on and get it.
Yeah, either. But
cool.
We got a good relationship with them, but he wasn't happy about that. But
so right about now, with you guys having everything full and in house and stuff like that, what about the boys here, Josh and Matt? What do you guys? I want to know kind of what you like and what you don't like and what you do and what you wish you didn't have to do, anything like that. I mean, I want to talk about these boys' roles because El Presidente, as I can see on the phone and makes the deals. But Josh, what about you, man? What do you do? What do you like to do as far as within Piedmont?
I like doing all of it. I run the dummy side of the paver, is what he would call it, the dummy side. I've rolled for years, shovel, loop, I've done it all. Me and Matt do the striping. There's one thing that I do hate with a passion. I hate seal coating.
Oh, yeah?
If I never seal coat it again, and they're like, well, there's too much money in it. I hate it. I can't stand it. And
what don't you like about it?
When I was probably 16 or 17, I don't know what I was doing, but I was holding the wand for some reason, and I think I was taking the tip off because we're going to start cutting in, and some dummy left pressure on the wand, and I took the tip off right there and just
Gotcha.
all my eyes and my face, and like a week later, every bit of skin on my face peeled off.
It was coal tar.
Coal tar.
Yeah, it's coal tar. Yeah, every bit of it peeled off, and I looked at Dad and I said, I don't care. I said,
Never doing it again.
I said, I'm not doing it again. I will never be near it again. I said, I'll drive the truck. I said, I will sit there and watch. I said, even if I have to be there, I just don't want to be near it anymore.
We switched from coal tar a while back. Even though I have some beautiful skin, that stuff burns up bad, man. The mustache and the cheeks, man. And I was just like, before, like everyone said, this is terrible for you. I caught the hint that when it was burning me alive, that it probably wasn't that bad for me.
Yeah.
And, you'd smell it. You can smell it. So there's got to be fumes coming. Well, man, if it's hurting my skin, I'm worried about my lungs. So up here, we're almost banned from it anyways. But I quit using it about 10 years ago. And, we use everything eco now. But I can't say that I absolutely love seal coating either. What I like is the fact that it gives me a venue to do this kind of stuff. Yeah. And then I do like the fact that it changes the curb appeal of people's places, and you can really make some people happy with it. But when it comes to the actual labor of it, I don't like doing the actual labor of it. I like line striping, I like crack sealing, I like all that. But man, of all the things we do, I like it the least. But I don't hate it, but I like it the least. So, what about Matt?
Let's see. All right, well,
are you trying to think about what you like? It takes that long.
No, I don't have to think. Just try to think. I'm gonna, talk about it. We're lucky having him, and he's always been pushing. I mean, I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning when I was 14 in the summertime, getting picked up to go work on the concrete crew.
Yeah.
Worst 2 summers of my life. I learned a lot and I worked really hard. But if you asked me today if I wanted to go pour concrete, I would say hell no. But then, like, if I was 14 or 15 when we were doing all that seal coating, and he put a striper in my hands and I started painting the parking lots after we seal coated, and that's been a nice avenue for me and Josh. Over the years, just to make side money. But I went to college after I graduated high school. I went to college for 4 years. So I'm starting a little bit later.
What for?
I'm 3 years in now, full time.
You gotta say what?
Oh, business admin, just business administration. He wanted me to go get a degree, and so I went. And
I was really adamant about the college thing, but
yeah.
After my 5-year try at college,
how many credits did you end up with?
0. 5 times I tried college, 5 different colleges, and 5 different colleges, and I didn't really get in that part of the story.
I have a credit.
I figured if you got a weak mind, you better have a strong back. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I went to college and came out, and so I started working, and I rolled. I think I was the only shoveler in North Carolina with a college degree, because that's where I started. I came back to work and I was on the shovel because everybody, all the roles were filled.
Uh-huh.
And so I finally worked in. I finally got on the dummy side of the paper 2.5 years ago, and started running it. And we had a guy named Jose running the paper. He was a great guy. I'd be willing to bet he's the best grader in North Carolina. Can run a motor grader like I've never seen. He's just got the eye for it. But he unfortunately left last September.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 2 days before we were going to Lowe's and Raleigh, 2,600 tons, mill up, put back 1.5 inches. And he left 2 days before we were supposed to leave, had it all scheduled to be there for the week, mill it up, put it back. And I told Dad, I said, screw him. I said, I'll put the asphalt down. I said, let's go. And Josh was like, well, that's fine. I said, but he wanted to be on the dummy side. So I was like, whatever, let's do it. That ain't going to stop us. So we went down there and rock and rolled. And I love Jose. If he watches this, whatever, we love him. But we went down there and didn't miss him one bit.
I think your dad would agree. Do what you got to do.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And like he said before about Jay Brewer, he's been blessed to have him work for him and the company's been blessed to have him. But in terms of, like, I've been blessed to watch him because I've been able to watch, and Jose, I've been able to watch 2 people who are really good at what they do run the paver and set the example on what is expected, and what kind of quality is expected out of a job. And I've learned they were both willing to teach me, and they have showed me a lot of great things. And now I'm kind of at that point where you just learn you learn more as you go. But I'm comfortable with that. And
So when you guys did striping, can you hear me good?
yeah.
So when you did striping, did you start out on stuff that you'd seal coated?
Yeah. We started. It took me like 3 or 4 years to talk him into letting me stripe a new part. It took me a long time. He didn't trust us.
Yeah, I didn't turn him loose on the new construction because I know how if you mess that up, it's not an easy fix. So they learned it. I broke them in on the seal coating, and then
all the shingles we had to pick up.
And then
that's why I was asking. Because when I jumped from stuff that we'd seal coated to striping fresh concrete or fresh asphalt, man, I was shaking like a leaf. I was like, boy, you messed this one up. And it wasn't like I seal coated a lot. Like, I think we did 2, and I used a lot of sealer to cover up.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was on a fresh concrete, and I was like, man, you're going to have to come on with this one. But you learn some tricks after that, a little bit and stuff like that. But
I picked up so many shingles when the times that they were striping. And then when I first started on seal coating jobs, that I said to myself, I will learn how to do this, and I will get good at it, so I do not have to lay these damn shingles down anymore when I'm striping.
They've done good. They really done good. They do.
That's the best. I can do that the best out of anything. I can.
Josh, you like striping, Josh?
Do I like striping?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like painting. He does all the painting. I just help lay it out.
Gotcha.
A lot of times, if we're still paving, I'll hop off the paver and let him finish paving, and then another guy will go lay everything out. So when he's done, all you got to do is hop on the striper and start painting.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to do that. I've seen these big projects you just did by the Hobby Lobby. I've seen that on Instagram. How do you guys set something up like that from beginning to end? Like, you get the lead, obviously, and then you follow up on the lead. But once they say go ahead, what's the very first thing you do?
Well, we had mentioned one guy.
Right now.
We got a guy named Matt Weiss. He's my brother-in-law by marriage. He came to work for us in 2013. And he's got a civil engineering degree. He worked with the DOT, and he lost his job in 2008. He worked for an engineer in Charlotte and drawing plans, civil engineer. And after 2008, it was a small firm. We walked in and said, "Hey, man, you have keys to your company car." And he went out and tried to do some landscaping and some bobcat work stuff on his own because there was many jobs out there. He started helping us on the side a little bit, but then he came to work. Me and Mark got together. Mark really wanted to come work for us and help him estimate. So he came to work for us in 2013. And Matthew is a very organized, very meticulous. Our customers love him. He's, as far as maps go, I went with him for about a year, maybe so, and just me and him. So he would deal with the customers, and he would go with me, and he started doing more and more of it. And now, people don't call me. They always deal with Matt or Mark. And but Matthew is very good at communicating with the customers, following up, and actually when we get a game plan, he puts the game plan together, and he'll email if we want to sell Lowe's home improvement. He's in contact with the store manager. He's in contact with the a lot of times general contractor, the superintendent job, general contractor. He does the truck and the logistics on the truck and the asphalt plant, and he's got it. And when he has Matt and Josh, they're planning for the night because most of the stuff he knows how many tons they're going to do, how many square yards they're going to do, and where they're working, and everybody knows what's going on. Don't anybody show up on our jobs that don't know what's going on.
I got you.
He's very good at that.
So after he's got that plan, then you guys start figuring it out yourself, way, everything else, or how do you? What's the very next step?
Yeah, so like he said, these big jobs. It starts in the office, and luckily Matt Weiss makes my job, everybody on the field's job a lot easier because of how good he does his. It started out with when I got out of college and stuff. It was he kind of came. He would come out and visit the crews, make sure everything's going good, kind of help get them started and everything else. And now that I've got out of college and I've started really picking up on everything, it's turned into more of we communicate on a daily basis, obviously, and on a nightly basis talk about what's going on the next day. But we'll sit down in the office in the morning on Monday morning and talk about the week. And it's more of him giving the game plan and then me carrying it.
Yeah.
Right. So what it's been able to do is now that I'm learning and I've learned is it can keep him in the office more to
Where he wants
and he don't have to come out there and worry about, hey, I need to make sure these guys are doing what they're supposed to be doing today because he's got me and Josh, we got eyes out there now. And
What guys you got, David?
We got on all three companies, I think there's like 28 or 9 of us.
Perfect.
It's our concrete crew, which I ain't talking, I'm not just saying this. We probably got, in my line, we got one of the best concrete crews. And we're working for the city of Greensboro right now as a subcontractor on a lot of the municipal work over. We're doing a lot of sidewalk work for them. And I've worked for them on the paving side a lot. So I knew Andy, who was the superintendent over there for the streets and everything. But he told me, he said, y'all got the best concrete crew we've ever had working in the city of Greensboro. And he said, but we've got some good guys, Aaron, and they can do, we went from doing, I tell people, we went from doing well over 100,000 foot curb and gutter a year, 408, to doing, we do maybe 3,000 foot a year now.
Yeah.
We don't, maybe 3 to 5, we don't do any curb and gutter anymore because these guys around here, there's only 3 or 4 curb contractors, but they're all working for 8, 9, 10 prices. They're still, the cost of materials going up, but the labor rate, you can't make any money. So we just moved, just like we did with the paving company, over into the maintenance on the concrete side, the flat work. Our boys can do curb and gutter. They can do, if you want a slick finish, we just built a new office here in Kernersville's 12,000 foot office. They put the slab in, slick finish for the footers, on that new construction project. Or they can, if you want a parking lot that's all concrete, they can do that. Stamped concrete, we just doing a stamped driveway today. They can do, they do anything. On the concrete side, they're just, we got some good guys on the concrete side.
Well, with that one, I kind of want to, what's the direction from here? You guys just the pedal to the foot now that you got everything kind of in place? Or do you got plans for things in the future? Or is it growth? Or is it aiming towards tackling now that you tackled everything else? You start building. You start building cars. Or what are you gonna be doing?
I think this year, we're gonna add another entity. I think, and we're gonna call it Piedmont Contracting.
Why not?
His name, and which we don't have a general contractor's license right now. As a sub, so we want. I think this year we're going to hopefully between now and the year, this end of the year, move over and start being a prime.
Sure.
And start bidding stuff as a prime because we got different municipalities. 10 Kerns we live in, they're bugging me all the time about wanting us to start bidding. They get some overlay contracts every year and they want us to bid them, and you can't. If they think it was $30,000, I can bid as a prime. So
right.
We just can't bid them unless we bid them through somebody else. So that's what, and if I put my daughter's name, we just do WMB stuff maybe and that kind of thing. And that's thinking where we're going. And really, at this point, I got a bad back. I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm not saying I'm bowing out. I'm just like, I got, one reason I come off a paver, when I told you 5 years ago, I like being on the paver. Number one, I think people love seeing the pocketbook on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I was on the dummy. One reason I was on the dummy side all the time is because I knew what was going on the ground.
Right.
If we were supposed to be putting 2 inches on the ground, I knew what was going on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So my worst nightmare, my worst fear, and I think my business, and maybe it's just the way I was raised, is I didn't want anybody to ever go behind us and dig up a parking lot or anything we ever paved and go, hey, these boys didn't put down 2 inches. They're supposed to put down 2. They put 1.5 inches. So, Jay used to argue, me and Jay used to argue all the time on the paper all day long anyway, every day. But just because he just what he is. He'd be like, hey, you giving it away? If you're going to give it away, give it to me, give me some, extra money. I'd be like, Jay, shut up. And let me worry about this. And, so every day I'd come in, we'd have a job, and it'd be 600, 700. I don't care what it was. If it was 1,000 tons, he'd say, we can't do this fast. We're doing it today. He said, he'd argue me every day. No, we can't. And guess what? Every day we'd be getting off the paper at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and he'd be like, "I told you he was going to do it today." Just, I knew it was. I never got any surprises. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I never got a phone call and say your guys did this, your guys did that, because I was always there.
You were there.
I was there.
The smart side operator is the quarterback. Really.
So but I could do it on the dummy side and run before Mark. Matt came along. I could talk to customers. I could set up truck the next day. I could do it all on the phone.
That's a wildcat office.
So, but when they come along, I figured I got 2 more sets of eyes out on the job that are like mine. They got vested interest, so they're gonna make sure things are done the way I would do them, and we're either gonna do it right or we're not gonna do it. So.
Well, what about you boys as far as the brand goes? Piedmont's getting to be where nationally you see it, and you're seeing it out. Do you guys have any expectations or hopes for Piedmont as far as our community sees it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. We're starting late in the game in terms of social.
You're right in time. You're
well,
right.
I'm in social media, and somewhat, but I'm taking a lot of cues from who you had on. I think last week from the American Paving boys.
Yeah. They set the bar.
Follow, try to take the lead from. They're doing what they're doing. They're doing right, and so I'm trying to incorporate the Piedmont Paving way of things into how watching them, seeing how they do.
That's the main thing.
That's our way.
I really like to see the potential that everyone can do, but I like to stick to the way that I do things.
Right.
All it needs is raise my game up. Not necessarily copy somebody, but raise my game up. So I kind of get from you guys and watching people that are a lot better off than we are in my mind as far as, I guess, services wise. You know what I mean? So it's a fun thing when your brand starts to recognize you, and the only people that know what we go through are us. So when you're able to have somebody follow along, it makes things pretty dang exciting.
And you can show, it's nice to show, because people look all the time and like, most people don't have a freaking clue on all that stuff, nothing. And you talk to people, and I had a GC ask me one time on a new striping job if how I painted if I freehanded the handicap stencil that I just made. How do you paint those? Do you freehand those? And he's the GC of the job.
Yeah.
And so people just don't have an idea. And I think I look at it as one of those ways. It's just an avenue for people to for you to show and help people kind of follow along and understand what we do day in and day out. And then in turn of that, it gives you an opportunity to present to property managers across the triad, like, hey, here's how Piedmont Paving does things, and and what they do is right. You can go fact check us, or double check us on through the different avenues of social media.
What you're doing is documenting you guys, and all they got to do is click on that at Piedmont Paving, and they can see everything you've ever done, man. It's like a repertoire in front of their. But I have a folder in here that has Polaroids and actual pictures that are on photo paper that I would take and say, "Here, hold this," and I'll go ahead and measure the driveway up. You know what I mean? And now I'm on an iPad on my Instagram account. Here, scroll that up. By the time I get back, they're still scrolling, man, or they're watching videos of us do stuff. And when I first started doing social media 7 or 8 years ago, people thought I was crazy for doing it in our industry, and then showing what we did. But the customers seen that I filled my tank all the way up with sealer. There wasn't no water. There ain't no room for water, man. We're filling her all the way up. And then would watch me go from there to the job and see us out there for hours and hours cleaning, getting everything just right, and taking care of all the cracks, and then caring that at the end of the driveway, we didn't spray it out into the, and it just has a nice two-tone fog finish. We have a nice straight line, dude. And that's what it took. And then that took us in our area to a whole other level. And then people from our industry started to find it. And then next thing I know, this beautiful mug is on YouTube and in front of everyone's faces. But and then all of a sudden people started to realize the value of it, and that's the main thing is, like you said, there's 2 avenues to it. Your customers see it, but not only that, like the people that we communicate within our community, they see it too, and you can learn from it. So you're teaching people, you're learning from different things, and it helps you set that bar. It actually is motivating everybody in our industry to be the best. I think their best.
It almost brings out kind of like a good sense
competitive.
Yeah.
It does. And it's not that old way of how it used to be where you would run people down. It was just, you would just show how badass you are now. And people are, you don't gotta say shit. People are like, oh, yeah, that's badass. You know what I mean?
It's actually been pretty good, Marvin, because for years we've always wanted more dump truck. We've always asked him, why can't we get more dump trucks?
Yeah.
More dump trucks. He's not a dump truck guy.
Right.
But he gets on Instagram now. He starts seeing these other pavement companies who are rolling just with dump trucks. And he starts running some numbers, and he's like, yeah, I called Todd the other day. They might have a Western Star in 6 weeks. 2 more this year, another one next year. So he's starting to see.
He ain't going to use it. It's going to sit here, and we're going to keep it nice. But, yeah, we're going to get one. Yeah. No.
Exactly. No, like you said, I think the big P is it brings out the friendly competition, which competition is always good. And
yes.
And it brings out, I mean, even
good competition.
Another great thing is it connects you people, like it connects you to paving companies. Like, we're never going to compete with American Pavement.
Right.
But we're still going to be competitive. We still want to be competitive with them. And,
you're not even in that market. You want to be competitive with how good your brand is and how well you're viewed, and that's a positive thing. There's no way that that's a negative thing, and that's the same thing with people around. That's why I'm stepping my game up, because now I have guests on that are kicking my ass apparently. You know what I mean? So I want to step myself up a little bit, but we don't truck either. We don't do our own trucking. If we have anything done, we have everything trucked in yet and stuff too. But
I had two.
We're working on it.
My problem is drivers.
That's the worst. Yeah, I hate having to rely on other people to get stuff done. And if somebody's already worked their ass off and established that they're a good trucking company, I'd much rather use them, because I'm more efficient getting the damn job done and getting on to the next one than I am going to try to ring Brian up at his house because he drank too much last night or something like that. You know what I mean? So you got to figure out what's efficient, and if you can do it in house. But the problem with me, guys, is I want it now. And I don't want to, but you got to be patient with a lot of stuff too, so.
I just got a little louder how much we spent. I called the county trucking the last 4 years, so I was like, I could have paid for so.
I will say that we got a good trucking company who works for us.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, they're all every time. I mean, whatever order we place, they deliver every day.
Even if we had 4 or 5, we're still going to hire 4 or 5.
Yeah. For jobs,
we're still going to have to be hiring trucks anyway. I'm just trying to cut down and put some of that money back in the company instead of.
Yeah. Well, fellas, I really appreciate you being on the podcast, and I know we could keep going for content forever and ever and ever. And if we get some slow time here coming up, maybe in November, December, whatever, you go ahead and have one of those Johnny Walkers, and I'll have Maker's Mark, David, and we'll talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we got the guys that work for us, all them old timers. We still got a couple. Well, they're not really old, but Craig and Jay and them. You bring them on here and just let them tell some of the stupid stories, man. I'm telling you, it'd be a hit. It could be a hit.
All right, I was so dumb. Like I said, I didn't have a clue. So I'd be riding down the road and I'd see a paving crew paving a parking lot, right? I'd pull over on the side of the road and just sit there and watch them. Just so I'd be like, so that's how they do that. Oh, that makes a whole lot more sense than what I'm doing. Yeah, that's that's how. That's a lot easier than what we were doing. So that's what I do. I remember starting new construction. I went to the library, or I went to one of the bookstores and bought me a book on how to read grade stakes, because I didn't have a clue how to read a grade stake. So I went and bought a book, took it home and read it that night, and on how to read a grade stake, taught myself how to read grades from a book, like a book for grading for dummies or something.
Yeah.
But we did everything the hard way.
Yeah,
the hard way.
Yeah, but
how many mailboxes we took out of that old drag box? You had to carry it. You had to take it on. You had to haul on the back of your truck. Had hooks.
I'm sticking out.
Yeah, you go around a curve and that thing would slide over, and you just see mailboxes in your mirror flying down through the ditches. You just take them out. And Mark Wallet with Lee Boy, and we was talking. See, we're so close to Lee Boy that I could call Mike or Keith. Or we was only about an hour and something from there. factory in the old days. Old days, I just ride down there and pick up a part.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'd walk in the factory and walk around the factory and pick up a part and take it home. Or I'd take the motor grader down there in the wintertime and they would paint it or whatever for me. Or if I had a problem, I'd call Mike up. I said, Mike, this thing's doing this. And he'd go, okay, do this, try this. And he'd talk me through it. And I would figure it out and we'd keep on paving. But we were that close to it. And then when they sold out, it changed a lot. So, but back in the old days, we just drive down there anytime we needed anything or done anything. We just go in the factory and they take care of us.
Well, we're going to have to get on there and get some of them boys on there that you guys got. And we'll do it when we can sip a little bit of whiskey, because that's when my good stories come out. And that's when I ask the best questions.
Yes, exactly.
When I don't care, I ask the best questions. I can tell you that much.
I'm already bugging you in July. Hey, Mark, when we doing this podcast, man? We got to do it.
No, we got some.
That sounds good.
We got some funny old Craig's funny.
You just scratched the surface today, I tell you.
Yeah.
So with social media and stuff, how can we find you guys, Matt?
We're on Instagram, Piedmont Paving Inc. We are on Facebook, Piedmont Paving Inc. And we started a YouTube channel. I started it a month ago, trying to.
Piedmont Paving, they can find you?
Yes, sir.
All right.
There's some Piedmont Paving. We're the Piedmont Paving Inc. here in North Carolina.
Okay.
But there are some Piedmont Paving, blah, 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 Inc.
Yeah.
We're in Kernersville, Piedmont Paving Inc. in Kernersville.
But you got the Instagram handle first.
Yeah, I got the name. That's right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, that ain't always so easy, big dog.
I clicked in there. I was like, I'll be damned. All right, that's easy enough. Didn't have to worry about it.
Man. Got lucky. That's a hard thing to do sometimes, but you did all right. So you got at Piedmont Paving on Insta. That's where I follow you guys at quite a bit. I was really highly impressed with the efficiency at the Hobby Lobby extras plus whatever you guys did. And then on Facebook, it's Piedmont Paving Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yes,
Cool.
sir.
All right, guys. Thanks for being on. I appreciate it. I really do. It was really nice meeting you. I can't wait to actually meet y'all in person.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully it's MPE next. Hopefully you guys can get free for that. I know Southern guys have trouble getting the MPE, but some do, some don't. But if
talked about that while we were at Con Expo about we need to go to the Paving Expo. I think they're going to have a little bit more fine table towards us.
They do. It's not as big, so but it's more geared towards paving, obviously, and seal coat. But the good thing that you go there for is the networking, because all of us are going to be there, man. And it's a damn good. Everyone's easy to find, I can tell you that much. So it's fun. It's fun to talk to and have a good time. Josh, David, Matt, I appreciate it. I appreciate you all being on here. We'll have to do it again sometime. You guys got any last things to say at all? I like to give people a last shout. That sounds great. No, I'm messing with you.
I was going to say thank you for having us on, and keep on keeping on with what you're doing, man. I think there's definitely a niche for it, like I said, and I think you're doing a great job with it, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. We'll have to have you all back on again sometime. All right, that's it. Blacktop Banter episode is done with the Piedmont guys. We want you to seal it, pave it, stripe it, and kill it. Peace.